Let's install Docker Desktop on Ubuntu 22.04. The first thing we're going to do is open a web browser and head over to docs.docker.com. And I'm going to choose download and install. We want Docker Desktop for Linux, so that's what I'm going to choose. And since I'm on Ubuntu, I'm going to choose the deb package. And it's been downloaded. Great, it was downloaded. But before we'll install it, we're going to install the Docker engine first. So here on the navigation bar on the left, I'm going to choose, instead of Docker Desktop, Docker engine. And here we have install. And here are the downloads for the Docker Desktop, which we already downloaded. And the very next thing is the server. And it will install on our system everything else we're going to need. So I'm going to choose Ubuntu. And here I'm just going to follow the instructions. So first we make sure that we don't have any old versions. So let's uninstall everything old we have. I don't have anything, but I'll do it anyway. And it didn't locate it because I didn't have it, but it's okay. Let's move on. So I'm going to install it using the repository. So I'm just going to copy and paste all of the commands one after the other. Okay, so we're done with the prerequisites and we're ready to install Docker Engine itself. And we installed the latest version, so we don't care about any specific version, so let's skip over this one. And to verify that Docker Engine was installed correctly, we're going to run this image. And it was downloaded and ran. And we can see hello from Docker, which means that Docker Engine was installed correctly. Now we're ready to install Docker Desktop itself. So let's move to the Downloads folder. And when we list the files, we can see the deb package of the Docker Desktop, which we downloaded a few minutes ago. So let's use apt install to install it. And as a prerequisite, it will also download QEMU and KVM. Great, the installation is done, and now we can open Docker Desktop from the Ubuntu application menu. So let's look for Docker, and here is Docker Desktop. Let's start it and accept the terms. And it will take a minute for it to start. And it was started. Great. So let's take a look at what we've got over here. So first we've got this tray icon. And from here we can access the dashboard, which is what we see right here. And we also have some settings. And beyond that, we have some links to the documentation, to a quick start guide, and to Docker Hub. So let's get back to the dashboard. And here we have a few tabs. So here's the Home tab, and here is the Containers tab. So right now we don't have any container yet, but let's run a sample container. So I'll copy this line and paste it to my terminal. And the image is downloaded and the container is ran. And here we see it among our containers, our running containers. Let's get back to the home. And let's, as an example, run an Ubuntu container. So let's run this one. And it's pulling the image. And let's say that that's what I'm going to do. Interact with Ubuntu from the terminal. So let's launch terminal. And here we got the terminal. We can do the very same thing if we get back to the Containers tab. And here you can see our second container, which is Ubuntu. And I can click here, which will open the container in its own terminal. And here it is again. So let's install and run neofetch. And we can see that it is Ubuntu 22.04, and we can see that the host is kvm QEMU. Let's close this terminal. And let's see another example. So let's run an Nginx container. And we need to select a directory which we're going to publish. So I'll create a new one in my home folder. I call it my website. And again, the image is being pulled, and then a container will be created. And if we get back to our containers tab, we can see that this one has a link, so we can open it with a web browser. But before I'll open it, let's create there a little website page. And I'll save it in the My Website folder. And now let's open the container in a web browser. And here we can see it. We also have the Images tab, which lists all of the images we currently have on our system. So we can see here the Getting Started image, the Nginx image, and the Ubuntu image.